I'm Noah from American Muscle, and today we're taking a look at the PowerStop Z26 Street Warrior brake rotor pad and caliper kit, front and rear, for the 99 to 2002 Mustang GT V6. Now, this is a complete kit that's perfect for someone who's looking to completely overhaul their Mustang's braking system with an upgraded kit. PowerStop really has simplified a brake job in terms of shopping for parts. We are looking at pads, rotors, and calipers front and back included with this kit. Now, this kit is designed to go hand in hand with high horsepower setups and is a great way to increase stopping power. Another feature you get with this kit is cross-drilled and slotted rotors, which will help keep your rotors cool while braking hard to avoid warping. And then you get these high-quality shims so that your braking is silent. Nobody likes loud brakes. So we're looking at a G3000 iron rotor with silver zinc coating. Now, these guys are strong and will stay looking great around the hub area where you would see uncoated rotors rust and look really ugly. Now, these calipers are cast iron and powder coated bright red to add a nice style point to your Mustang. This also means you don't have to deal with painting raw calipers, which in my opinion is a huge bonus. And lastly, these brake pads are carbon fiber ceramic, so brake dust is kept to a minimum. Now, this kit does come with a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty as well, so you're safe from any manufacturing defects. This kit from PowerStop comes in right around $850. Now, in terms of bang for your buck, this kit is going to be really hard to beat price-wise, especially when you consider that new painted calipers are included, as well as upgraded rotors and pads. Now, this is a bolt-on kit. Everything is included, so I'd say this is a really fantastic investment to make for your Mustang. Installing this kit on your Mustang shouldn't be too much of a hassle for the average DIYer. Now, this kit comes in right at 2 out of 3 wrenches of difficulty and should take you about 3 hours to complete the full install. When replacing brake calipers, you're going to need to bleed the brakes afterwards. When you're planning on doing this install, it's a good idea to get a friend who's available to give you a hand. Bleeding brakes is always easier with 2 people, but it can be done just by yourself. Now, speaking of install, let's head over to the shop and get these on our Mustang.
For this install, you will need a ratchet, 12 and 15 millimeter sockets, 10, 13, 14, and 16 millimeter wrenches, a flathead screwdriver, various vice grips, a bungee cord, a soft mallet, a vacuum bleeder, rags, brake fluid, and brake clean to clean up any messes involving fluid that may have come out when you change your lines.
What's up, guys? Today we're going to be installing some brakes on our Mustang, so let's get started. So for this kit, we are going to be installing new calipers, and as you can see, when you get these, your kit will come with a fully assembled caliper and bracket kit. So in the interest of saving time and, as you'll see, losing less fluid through your brake lines, we're going to go ahead and prep our calipers by removing the brackets and getting them ready to swap over first as we go ahead and start taking off our factory setup. So for our fronts, we'll go ahead and grab our 12mm socket here, and we're going to remove our 2 caliper bolts holding the bracket to the caliper. That one off. That one off. So now our caliper and bracket are separated. And then we'll go ahead and take our rear caliper bracket off. Now for this one, you're going to need a 14 millimeter ratcheting wrench, especially because this one is blocked by your park and brake spring. So we'll go ahead and get this off. Other bolt off. Okay, so now once you have these off, you can go ahead and repeat these same 2 steps for the other 2 calipers. So to start, we're going to go ahead and remove the line from our factory caliper so we can swap it over to our new caliper. It makes it easier to do it while it's still mounted, just so we lose minimal fluid. We can swap it right to the new caliper and everything is in place. You're not trying to hold your caliper and loosen it and do all kinds of stuff. So we'll grab our 16 mil ratcheting wrench here. We're going to crack off our banjo bolt. Now you do want to have like a towel or a bucket underneath of your brakes here, because you are going to lose some fluid in the process. So now that we have this loose, go ahead and get it off. This can get a little jammed up coming out. Like I said, you are going to lose some fluid. Most of it's coming out of your caliper, which is fine. Now you're going to want to remove your old washers here. You definitely don't want to reuse these going back in. It can be kind of tricky to get out. So now once you've got your washer swapped over and your bolts back in place, now for demonstration purposes, we've left ours in. This is going back to stock. But once you have those done, you can go ahead and grab your new caliper. So now we can go ahead and get our bolt into our new caliper here. This is admittedly kind of tricky with your line and your block here. So now we've got our bolt started into our new caliper. We're going to grab our 16 mil ratchet wrench. Go ahead and tightening this down. You want to keep all your brake fluid away from the inside of your new caliper. Now that we've got that tightened down, we've got a bungee cord here. It's going to hold our new caliper in place and keep tension off our line while we disassemble the rest of our brakes. Now we can go ahead and get our factory caliper off, again using our 12 mil socket on our ratchet. You do want to be mindful of your new caliper because it is going to be in here. Take that bolt out. Our upper bolt off. We have our bolts off. Go ahead and remove our caliper. And you want to be mindful because there will still be fluid coming out of it. And once you have that off, you can go ahead and remove your pads. And they just simply pop out of the bracket like so. Now we can go ahead and remove our caliper bracket using our 15 mil socket on our ratchet. Now before you take either one of these all the way out, you do want to loosen the other one just so you have the leverage without it swinging, because it will. Once you have that off, you can go ahead and remove your bracket. Pull the bolt out. Now we can go ahead and remove our rotor. So now we can go ahead and install our new front rotor. So now we can go ahead and get our new caliper bracket on. Now we are going to be reusing our factory mounting bolts. So we'll reinstall those 15 mil bolts now. first one started. Try not to drop your other one. Get that one in. We'll go ahead and tighten these down. And for that, we'll grab our 15 mil socket on our ratchet. So now we'll go ahead and get our new pad clips on. These simply slide into place here. Push them right into their slots on the caliper bracket here. Same thing for our bottom one. Try not to let them fall out. Once you have both those in, we can go ahead and throw our pads in. Start with our inner pad here, and it's just going to go right in on its ears. Right in just like so. Do the same thing for our outer pad. Make sure they're nice and evenly seated. We can go ahead and grab our new caliper. Now you want to make sure that none of your brake fluid got anywhere near where your pads are going to sit. Now before we throw our caliper on, we're going to need to go ahead and install our little spring clip here. So that's going to go into our caliper in the top opening. It's a bit tricky to get in here, being brand new. You may need to fold the ear in just a hair. Go ahead. You don't want to damage the sleeves on your pistons here. Just be mindful of that. Go ahead and push that through. Make sure that's in. And that's how it should look once it's seated. So now we'll go ahead and get our caliper in place. So now that we've got our caliper pretty much in place, we'll go ahead and get our lower slider bolt just in so that we can pivot our caliper down, go into place. Now because that top clip is pretty springy, it might take a little effort. So now we'll go ahead and get our upper mounting bolt in place. Tighten that down, and we'll grab our 12 mil socket on our ratchet, tighten these up. Now you may need to go ahead and use a 16 mil wrench to come in behind your caliper to hold the slider portion to go ahead and get this bolt tightened down. So we'll do that for both of them. So for our rear brakes, we're gonna have to disassemble our parking brake cable assembly that is on our current caliper. So we're going to start back here where our cable retainer is. There is a snap ring here. We're going to take a flathead screwdriver, go ahead and pop that off. You want to make sure you keep track of this thing, don't let it fly into orbit. You're going to keep that and set it aside. Now once we have that off, we can go ahead and loosen up our retainer nut on the back side here. So now that we have our clip out of our retainer there, we're going to go ahead and get the line out of its bracket here for our parking brake. So we're going to grab some vice grips. So you want to get some vice grips onto the end of your parking brake line here, and go ahead and get your vice grip leveraged against the bracket for itself. And we're just going to go ahead, pull it out. This may take a little bit of patience and effort. A couple different tries, but we will get it. And you want to pull that out of your bracket like so. Go ahead and release it. Then once you have that out, you can go ahead and work your park and brake line out of the caliper itself. Leave that hanging. So now we're going to go ahead and remove our brake line from our caliper itself. We'll grab our 10 mil wrench, go ahead and crack this loose. Again, we have a towel underneath our brakes here. You want to grab either that or a bucket because you will lose some fluid on this. Crack that loose. Okay. Now at this point you will want to go ahead and again replace your copper washers on your banjo bolt there. For demonstration purposes, ours are going to stay the same because this will be going back to the factory calipers, but that is what you want to do at this time. Now once you have those washers swapped, we can go ahead and transfer our line to our new caliper here. Go ahead and get this run in. You want to make sure none of this brake fluid gets on anything that's going to be touching your pads or your rotors. Most importantly, we can go ahead and grab our 10 mil wrench. Go ahead and tighten this down. I like to use a wrench for these as opposed to a ratchet or anything with power, just to feel your threads and make sure everything's going in nice and smooth as it should. Go ahead and get this as tight as we can right now. And we'll go ahead and finish tightening up once it's mounted. So now we can go ahead and remove our caliper from our bracket. So we'll go ahead and grab our 13 mil ratcheting wrench. Go ahead and pop these off. Once we have hardware off, we can go ahead and remove our caliper. Now we can go ahead and get our pads off. Slide these out. Now we'll go ahead and grab our 15 mil socket on our ratchet and get our caliper bracket off. Go ahead and get our bracket off, get the bolts out. So now that we have all that off, we can go ahead and remove our rotor. Now I know ours came off pretty easily, but if yours has been on there for a while and has some corrosion, as like we do in the Northeast here, you can take a soft mallet and give it a few whacks on the side of it here, just to get it to pop loose if it has frozen up to your hub. So now once you've got this done for this side, you can go ahead and repeat these same steps for the other side. So now that we have everything off, we can go ahead and start putting our new brakes on. So we'll start with our new rotor. That slid into place. So next we can go ahead and get our new caliper bracket on. Slide this into place. We're going to reuse our factory 15 millimeter mounting bolts here. Go ahead and get these on. And we'll go ahead and tighten these down with our 15 mil socket on our ratchet. So now we're ready to install our new pads. So we're going to grab our new clips. They're going to go on the ears of our pads like so. And we can go ahead and get these installed. Now these are a little bit of a pain. Just have some patience with them. You can push down your tabs here. We've got our inner pad in here. Go ahead and do the same thing for our outer pad. We'll go ahead and get our outer pad in. These clips can be frustrating, but kind of work them in with a little bit of patience. Get both pads in, get them seated as close as we can to the rotor. Make sure they're nice and even. Then we can go ahead and install our caliper now. So now we'll get our top clip in place for our caliper. So we'll slide that through here, pop that up, slide it over. We can go ahead and get this in place. We'll go ahead, caliper on. Grab our new hardware. Get that started. We'll go ahead and tighten those bolts down. And we'll use our 14mm ratcheting wrench to go ahead and tighten these down. And once you have this mounted, you can go ahead and snug down your brake line fully. Remember, you always want to refer to your manufacturer torque setting for all of your hardware you're bolting on. So now we can go ahead and feed our park and brake line through our caliper here. It may be a little tough with the coating on these, but if you work it a bit, you should be able to get it through. And if not, go ahead and take a flathead screwdriver or a small pry bar, whichever you have, and run it on the outer edge of this rear retainer ring here. And we'll just give it a few taps. Kind of help persuade it through the hole here. So now once you have your park and brake fully seated back into the caliper, we can go ahead and reinstall our retainer clip right here. Let's give that a push back into place. Now we're going to grab our vice grips and go ahead and clamp onto the end of our park and brake cable. So now we're going to go ahead and pull our cable out. We've got our vice grips attached. Now we're going to get our cable back into our new retainer here. Now one thing to note is you do want to make sure your park and brake is not engaged when trying to do this, or you will be fighting a losing battle. So we'll go ahead and get this locked in here. And you can kind of pinch this closed if you want to. It's really a your choice thing. It will sit and retain just fine, just like it is. So now once you have this complete for this side, you can go ahead and repeat these same steps for your other side, and then we can move on to bleeding our brakes. So now that we have all of our brakes on, it's time to go ahead and bleed our system. So what we first want to do is come up to our engine bay here, and we're going to remove the cap on our master cylinder reservoir. So we can pop that off. That's going to allow our fluid to flow through our brake system as we're pulling it out of each caliper. So now that we've got that open, now you do want to have brake fluid. You will need to add more, obviously. We're running through the system here. We have .3, .4 crossover fluid here. That's going to work for this era of Mustang. It'll be just fine. So the process of order for bleeding your brakes, you're going to start at your rear passenger side because you want to start at the farthest caliper away from your master cylinder. So you'll do the passenger rear side, then the driver's rear side. Then when we come up front, we'll do the passenger front side, and then finish off with the driver front side. So you're going to leave this open, and we'll check this periodically as you bleed your system to make sure your fluid level is consistent. You don't want to bleed this dry. You want to keep fluid in it, but you also want to draw fluid through it. So we've got that open. Now we can go to the back and start bleeding our brakes. So we're going to bleed our brakes with a vacuum bleeding setup. This is a really great tool to have if you're doing this job solo. Now, if you do have a friend and you don't have a vacuum pump, you can simply do it the old school way of having your buddy pump the brakes up and hold them while cracking your bleeder open as fluid runs through. But if it's just you, a vacuum pump is a great tool to have. So we're going to go ahead and remove our cover for our bleeder screw here. And we're going to get our hose onto the end of our bleeder. Now sometimes you find these can be a little loose. You can always throw a little zip tie on there or something to hold that in place. And we've got some fluid in our tube here that's going to equalize our pressure. And we're going to grab our wrench. We're going to crack our bleeder open. This is a 10 mil wrench for this bleeder. Now that we've got that open, we're going to begin pumping. So now we've got fluid coming out of our hose. We're going to keep pumping it until we don't see any air bubbles. And once we get to a point where it's a solid stream, normal air, go ahead and close this back off. Now once you have this process complete for this wheel, you can go ahead and repeat these same exact steps for your other 3 wheels, working your way up from the farthest caliper to the closest caliper of your master cylinder. Alrighty guys, that about wraps up our review and install of our PowerStop Z26 Street Warrior brake rotor pad and caliper kit for the front and rear of your 99-02 Mustang GT and V6. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.